Imagine living so far away from the rest of the world that your nearest major neighbor lies more than 2000 kilometers away. No nearby allies, no surrounding markets, no easy access to global trade routes, and no neighboring countries. For most of history, such isolation would have been a disaster. Yet somehow, New Zealand transformed this disadvantage into one of its greatest strengths, which raises a fascinating question. How did one of the most isolated countries on earth become one of the safest, richest, and most stable nations in the world? Because sometimes being far away is the greatest advantage of all. For thousands of years, humans spread across the planet: Europe, Asia, Africa, the Americas, but New Zealand remained empty. Incredibly, humans only arrived around 700 years ago, making it one of the last major landmasses settled by people. Its extreme isolation protected it from invasions, empires, and many of the conflicts that shaped the rest of the world. History had already unfolded elsewhere. New Zealand arrived late to the story, and sometimes arriving late has advantages. Geography has always punished isolation. For centuries, New Zealand was almost unbelievably remote. Before airplanes, ships from Europe took months to arrive. Communication was slow, trade was expensive, and opportunities were limited. Many believed this isolation would prevent New Zealand from ever becoming prosperous. But then something extraordinary happened. Technology changed geography. Steamships, refrigerators, and later aviation. Suddenly, distance mattered less, and New Zealand's greatest weakness began to disappear. Here's something few people realize: the invention of refrigerated shipping transformed New Zealand. Before refrigeration, exporting meat and dairy products to Britain was nearly impossible. But once refrigerated ships appeared in the late 19th century, everything changed. New Zealand farmers suddenly gained access to global market. An isolated country became connected, and prosperity followed. Sometimes a single invention changes the destiny of nations. Europe experienced endless war. Asia experienced invasion. The Middle East experienced empires colliding. New Zealand experienced oceans. Its geography provided natural protection. No hostile neighbors, no border disputes, no immediate military threats. This allowed the country to spend less energy worrying about survival and more energy building institutions, education, healthcare, and economic stability. In a strange way, the ocean became New Zealand's greatest bodyguard. Many people think small countries are weak, but history often suggests otherwise. Small countries adapt faster, governments are easier to manage, and societies can remain more flexible. New Zealand embraced this advantage. It became known for politically stability, transparency, strong institutions, and high quality of life, without ever needing to become a superpower, because power isn't always measured by size, sometimes it's measured by quality. Isolation has advantages, but it also creates vulnerabilities. New Zealand depends heavily on trade, tourism, and international markets. Its economy remained exposed to global downturns, and being far away still increases transportation cost. Geography never disappears, it simply changes, which means New Zealand's greatest strength can also become its greatest challenge. During the COVID-19 pandemic, New Zealand's isolation suddenly became a massive advantage. While much of the world struggled with open borders and geographical exposure, New Zealand's remoteness helped it control the spread far more effectively than many countries. Sometimes, once viewed as a weakness, became a shield, and once again, geography proved its power. Most people think success comes from being connected to everything. New Zealand suggests something different. Sometimes success comes from being protected from everything. Its isolation prevented invasion, reduced geopolitical tensions, and allowed institutions to develop in relative peace. Because geography doesn't merely create problems, it creates opportunities, and New Zealand mastered them. New Zealand's story isn't really about distance, it's about turning disadvantages into strength. Because throughout history, the countries that thrive are not always the biggest, or the richest, or the most powerful. Often, they are the countries that understand their circumstances better than anyone else. And perhaps that's why one of the world's most isolated nation became one of its most successful. Because sometimes the edge of the world is exactly where you want to be.